Hello, beautiful, soulful sister. Today we're going to be diving into a powerful and often overlooked topic, embracing your intuition during menopause. Because menopause isn't just a hormonal shift, it's an awakening, a transformation of your whole life, including your soul. And your intuition? It's calling you home to a much deeper awareness of yourself. Welcome to the Soulful Menopause podcast. Discover how to transform the chaos of menopause into vibrant health and a soulful life you'll love. I'm Sally Love, natural nutritionist, hypnotherapist, and soul wisdom coach. I want you to experience a soulful menopause that will guide you into the best years of your life. Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you ever had a gut feeling that turned out to be spot on? You know, that quiet whisper inside you that's guided you, even when it didn't make sense at the time. Did you listen to it or did you ignore it? Have you ignored your intuition and you've chosen to go with your head, your logic, because that makes more sense, and then afterwards you've regretted it? It can be anything, like getting an uncomfortable feeling about someone and then ignoring that, but then that person causes you problems in some way. Or perhaps you felt like that you shouldn't eat a particular thing, but you go ahead and you do it anyway and you end up feeling sick. You know, it can be absolutely anything. But afterwards, you say to yourself, oh God, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I'm sure we have all been there. And that's your intuition. The ancient inner knowing that every person is born with. Now, generally speaking, women have been the ones to embrace their intuition more, and it's seen more as a feminine trait. You know, regardless of our gender, we can have these sort of masculine and feminine traits. And intuition is seen as more of as a feminine trait. But sadly, for hundreds and actually thousands of years, this sacred feminine wisdom has been silenced. It's been dismissed and it's been devalued. Why? Well, one of my thoughts is that it's because of the patriarchal systems that have actually shaped our world. And as a result, it's actually shaped our own perception of intuition. It's become an inherited belief system that we've carried with us. You know, for generations, we've been taught to value logic over instinct, to actually prioritize productivity over presence, to logically look outside ourselves for answers rather than looking within and trusting our own intuition. And women's intuition was once deeply honoured by matriarchal societies. It was actually revered as something beautifully sacred. And it held a very powerful place within tribes, for example. You know, women would enter the red tent during the time of their period and menstruate into the earth. And then they would bring forward messages from ancestors, from their own intuition, and pass that on to the tribe. And so this was a really sacred time which ensured the safety and the thriving of tribes. Unfortunately now, intuition is often seen as being over-emotional or irrational. And actually, it was seen as downright dangerous because of the witch hunts. You know, these witch hunts weren't about women being an evil witch. These women were midwives and nurses and doctors, and they were using natural remedies to help people heal. They were murdered in the most horrific ways due to the fear of powerful women. These women were seen as so powerful because they were these healers. They could bring people, seemingly bring people back from the dead. People were really dying. So they were seen as hugely powerful. Oh, these witch hunts were created to suppress women. There was a real fear around this power that women held. And so the message became clear. Don't trust yourself, obey, conform, stay small, know your place, don't speak out. Intuition is evil. Because if they did speak out, if they did let themselves be seen, then it was likely they would be murdered. So we've actually carried this message through our generations without even realizing it. It silently sits in our cells, in our whole being. Now, I was actually a professional psychic for many years. You may or may not know that. It depends how long you've been following me. And I had a private practice in central London. I was on live TV. I've done readings for some very famous people. I studied at the College of Psychic Studies in London for 2 years to become a healer. I also became a past life therapist and many other things. I've run retreats helping women how to enhance their intuition. And so I've had a significant amount of experience with intuition. And in fact, throughout my whole life, even from when I was a child, I've got many stories to tell around that. But one thing that I got so fed up of, it was people looking down on me for doing something they didn't believe in, or they outright said that it was a load of rubbish, or oh, that's mumbo jumbo, I don't believe in that stupid stuff. I mean, that's actually putting it mildly. Sometimes you could get terrible vitriol from people. So there's a terrible lack of understanding around intuition and also being psychic, which are two really sort of different things, although they go hand in hand. And I think some of this is due to fear. It's due to these old messages of intuition being evil. And of course, it's also a total lack of curiosity, a total lack of open-mindedness and being able to question things in a healthy way. So it's really understandable why women feel a resistance to embracing their intuition. There are so many negative stories around it. But here's the thing. Intuition is a natural ability. It's natural. It's totally natural. We all have it. And some of us more than others, just like somebody can be more artistic than you, or someone can be a better singer than you, or whatever. We're all talented in so many different ways. Intuition is actually inherent in all of us. It keeps us alive. We can sense if someone is staring at us behind our back. We can sense if a situation doesn't feel safe. And I think certainly I know that us women can feel that a lot more. We have inbuilt into us a lesser amount of safety than men do. We're always having to be careful if we're walking down a street at night, for example, and things like that. So intuition is a lot more, it can be a lot stronger within us than men. It does keep us alive. And just like an animal, we can sense changes in our environment. And so it keeps us alert to potential dangers. If you think about an animal, they can sense if there's going to be a change in the weather that may threaten them so that they can move to a safer place. Or they can sense if a predator is watching them. So then they know to run or play dead. And I've actually got a dog. And for those of you that do have pets, particularly dogs or cats or horses or whatever, I'm sure you will have seen them picking up on your energy. That they come to you when you're sick or when you're upset, when they have that concern in their eyes, you feel their empathy, you feel their love for you as they approach you and sit with you. And so I want you to know that menopause cracks open your intuition. It stimulates it, it opens it up for you, it peels back the layers of conditioning, it strips away what no longer serves you, and it invites you so powerfully to reclaim the wise woman within. Now, if you're aware of the Soulful Menopause journey, menopause is inviting you to become your own sage woman. Menopause is a time when your intuition naturally rises to the surface. It's so much more accessible, so much closer to the surface than normal. Why? Well, that's because of the hormonal shifts that happen during menopause that affect your whole body chemistry and your vibration in profound ways. Your sensitivity to your inner world heightens, and your soul starts to speak louder. Now, I teach this a lot in my Soulful Menopause journey. Particularly when we are moving into perimenopause, which is the start of the starting phase of moving into menopause, I talk about it being a time of chaos and everything's coming up, and for you to see, you get all the old memories and stories and regrets and everything all coming up. And I teach women how to connect with their intuition and how to move through that, because your intuition is saying, hey, take a look at this. This is something that needs to be healed within you. You don't need to carry this around with you for the rest of your life. It's just weighing you down. It's stopping you from achieving what you want in life. It's stopping you from showing the world your true self. And so it's really important that we can listen to our intuition during this time. And you may feel it in the beginning as a quiet yearning. You may feel it as a need for solitude, to go within more. And I have a stage in the Soulful Menopause journey called Tending the Cauldron, where symbolically we're talking about going into a cave, because it's going about deep into your soul, deep into listening to your intuition. And it's that desire to do some inner work. So perhaps you're feeling more pulled to do some psychological sort of work, some questioning, some understanding what has happened in your life so far, and you want to unravel all of that and find out what the old beliefs are that are holding you back. You feel really drawn to do some deeper work. And so you can start questioning these beliefs that you've carried with you your whole life, really, and questioning yourself on a very deep level, questioning your life. What do you want from life now? And in order to answer that question, you have to ask, well, who am I? And so there's a real deep sense that something more is calling you. And that something more, that's your intuitive wisdom. It's your intuitive wisdom asking you to be heard. So, how do we actually reclaim this sacred gift? I came up with a couple of things, a few sort of soulful steps that you can begin working on today. Feel into these, feel which one you're more drawn to, and start having fun with it. Start playing with it. Start seeing where you feel intuitively drawn to. So the first one is to create stillness, because your intuition doesn't shout. Usually it doesn't shout at you. Sometimes during menopause it can really start shouting, but it's very difficult to hear because there's so much other stuff going on and you're feeling very ungrounded. You don't know where you are at the moment. You're in complete chaos. So even if your intuition is shouting to you at that time, sometimes you still can't hear it because of what's going on. But generally, intuition, she whispers. And so if you can give yourself some moments of silence in your day, and it can sometimes just be a couple of minutes. Hey, even do it when you're sitting on the loo, if you've got a busy life, or maybe you want to do a guided meditation. Perhaps it's just once a week. What feels easy and doable for you? Is it a 5-minute meditation once a week? Perhaps it's a meditation that you do as you're falling asleep at night or when you wake up first thing in the morning before getting out of bed. Perhaps it's going on a beautiful nature walk. Maybe like me, you have a dog and you can get out into nature every day and do walks in nature. That's a beautiful time to create stillness, to just be and listen and let go of your monkey mind telling you all your shopping lists and to do whatever else that's going on for you, and just take some time to listen. Just say, okay, I'm going to spend the first 5 minutes of this walk listening to my monkey mind about my to-do list and whatever else. And then after that, I'm creating some time to just be fully present with where I am right now. And there's lots that you can do for that if you're on a walk. It's just constantly noticing different things around you, putting your attention on different things around you. That will help to keep your monkey mind quieter. But do anything really to create stillness that helps you just turn inward and listen. And you can listen for those subtle nudges. Listen for the feelings rather than logic. Just let logic go out of the window for a moment. And perhaps when you're on a nature walk, just see what grabs your attention. Or if you're journaling, and you do journaling as a practice, what words are popping out from the page that grab your attention? Creating that stillness can be something like journaling, where you can journal what is deep within me that's wanting to be heard. It's a really lovely question to journal. Okay, number 2, trust your body. Now, your body is so wise, it's so full of wisdom. And she speaks to you through sensations, through emotions, and through energy. And so if something feels off to you, honor that. And if something lights you up, honor that and follow it. And I often teach people how to listen to their intuition with regard to their body sensations. And you can do this. It's a fun practice. Think of something that you could get a yes or a no answer to. And close your eyes and take a few deep breaths and just connect within. Ask your question and then feel, do I get an expansive feeling, which is a yes? Or do I get a feeling of contraction, which is a no? And you'll feel this most likely in the pit of your stomach, but you could feel it elsewhere. Just trust your intuition with where you feel it in your body. And have fun with exploring that expansion and contraction. Do things as simple as like, oh, does my body want this cup of tea right now? Do you get an expansion or a contraction for that? Just fun things throughout your day that you can play with. Okay, number 3, heal the inner critic. Oh, yes, the inner critic. When it says things like, oh, you're being silly or you're too sensitive or whatever. Invariably, that's not your truth. It's not true. Those thoughts are really unhelpful. They are unhelpful beliefs we can carry with us from childhood. They can be things that you were told when you were a child, for example, or came to a conclusion with when you were a child due to certain circumstances in your life. So the thing to do is meet them with compassion. You don't want to get angry with yourself for having these negative thoughts, because if you do that, anger is a very strong energy and it will create more of the same. And you're creating more of the same by telling yourself off, and then becoming more of an inner critic. So meet yourself with compassion when you have these thoughts and these feelings. And what I like to do is help women when they hear a negative thought or feel a negative feeling. I say just follow it up with its positive opposite. What is the positive opposite of that negative thought you're having or that negative feeling you're having? So if you have that unhelpful inner critic telling you you're being silly, for example, you can follow it up with something like, it is powerful and helpful for me to listen to my intuition. Or something as simple as, listening to my intuition is a beautiful thing. Whatever feels right for you. Okay? And number 4, finally, celebrate your dreams and visions. So whether it's through art or daydreaming, or even the dreams that you have at night time, allow your inner world to express itself and listen. Listen to your dreams, listen to your visions. Where are you going when you're daydreaming? What are those dreams saying to you? Now, your soul will often speak in symbols and metaphors. So I always recommend journaling for this. You may want to start a dream diary, which is a really fun thing to do. And by the way, if you're wanting to remember a dream, start from the end of your dream and work the way to the beginning of your dream. That's the best way to remember a dream. And even if you don't remember anything about the dream, any details of the dream, just write down how the dream made you feel. Like when you in the first few seconds of waking up, how were you feeling? Because that feeling will still be with you from your dreaming the first few moments that you wake up. So take a note of those. And what about art or creativity? You don't have to be an artist to express yourself creatively at all. You can doodle on a piece of paper. You can have fun cutting images out of magazines that speak to you. And maybe you want to just draw or paint, and it doesn't have to look great, does it? You don't have to be an artist. This is an expression of yourself, an expression of your soul. And you are potentially the only person who's actually going to look at this. So allow that inner expression of you to start coming out. Perhaps choose colours that convey how you're feeling inside. Or maybe shapes, maybe there's certain shapes, or you want to do squiggles, or you want to do really harsh lines on a piece of paper. That is creatively conveying how you're feeling within. Okay, so those 4 are creating stillness, trusting your body, healing the inner critic, and celebrating your dreams and visions. I would love to hear from you which one that you're choosing to work with to start trusting and enhancing your intuition. And please, please remember that you're not losing your mind during menopause. You're actually finding your soul. You're stepping into your sage woman, your inner oracle, your beautiful, wise woman. This is far from the end. It's not the end. It's a beautiful new beginning of your most authentic, intuitive self. So, beautiful soulful sister, let me leave you with this. This is a thought for you to ponder on over the next few days and weeks. What would change your life if you trusted your intuition completely? And I'm going to ask you that question again. You may want to write it down. It's something that would be wonderful to journal on if you feel drawn to do that, or meditate on. Think about when you're on your walks. What would change in your life if you trusted your intuition completely? What decisions would you make? Where would you go? What would you stop tolerating? What do you want more of? What could you create? Okay. Now, give yourself permission to explore these questions. Your intuition is your compass, and she will never lead you astray. Now, actually, there's quite a lot I can actually say on that one sentence alone, because we have to learn how to listen to our intuition and not our fears, for example, which can masquerade as our intuition at times. So I do occasionally run an online intuitive development course. So please do make sure that you're signed up to my newsletters, which you can do by visiting soulfulmenopause.com. And then you can find out when I'm running the next one. Get in touch with me if it's any questions you have. I would love to hear your stories about intuition, which one of those 4 wonderful soulful steps that you're going to try out, or even how does that one question, what would change your life if you trusted your intuition completely? Oh, I would so love to hear from you on that. Okay, beautiful lady, until next time, please always trust your beautiful inner wisdom. Lots of love. To find out more about how you can live a soulful menopause, please visit soulfulmenopause.com. I'm really looking forward to being with you again soon. Bye for now.